random internet person. I'm so glad you're here. Just finished setting up everything. So put down the knife. Okay. I know you read the thumbnail. Put down the knife. I said put it down. So the Spider-Man PS4 game has committed to a move that I think should be a trend going forward with all the Spider-Man properties. Peter's got to sit down and let Miles take the reins as the main Spider-Man for a bit. And to explain that totally rational statement, let's go through the characters, talk about where they are, and their current story impacts. So what's the origin of Spider-Man? If you're watching this video, I don't have to tell you. We got radiation, Spider, and an old man being shot in the street. Spider-Man has been around for 60 years. That is incredible. He's not popular because of any particular spider power. No, it's because he's relatable. He doesn't have a dad from some distant planet. He doesn't have trust fund money. He's got rent due next week, and Aunt May needs her med prescription filled. But there's also a robbery happening down the street. When you've been around for 60 years, you see a lot. But you also see a lot of the same. In the comics, time is always moving forward unless there's some kind of reset. If a writer wants to tell a new story, then they just put it into a spin-off comic or maybe a flashback. Other media does not have that, however. In order to get new audiences, stuff is always being reset. You've got new cartoons every other year. You've got new movies every 5 years or so. And it all stems from the same story. Every time we have to see everything all over again. We see the lab trip, we see the spider bite, and then we see Uncle Ben get shot on the street just so his catchphrase can catch a little bit more clout. This man is in an eternal loop of being shot just for a teenager doing a normal teenager thing of lying to him and going somewhere else. Not even until the last Captain America movie that we finally just skip it and Peter just looks in the camera and says, "Hey, I didn't help someone. Bad things happened." And we just move on. In the past few years, there's only one story that's been outside the comics that's added anything cool to the mythos, and that would be the PS4 Spider-Man game. In it, you can see that Insomniac loves Spider-Man. It has so many costumes, so many references, and then I see that most of all in the storyline with Dr. Octopus. In this game, Spider-Man works for Dr. Octavius, and you know he's Dr. Octopus. So they just play with that expectation. Every time you turn the corner, he's doing something else that looks like it's gonna lead into his origin, and you just side-eyed him the whole time.
Ah! I stubbed my toe. If only I had giant metal arms to carry me everywhere. Doc, you feeling okay?
When are you gonna turn? Okay. I hear you saying, what about the MCU Tom Holland movies? Shut up about that. Put a pin in it. First, we gotta look at Miles though. So let's take it all the way back to 2011, where we have an alternate universe Peter Parker Spider-Man who is significantly more than a jerk than the main universe, but he's also dead. No one is there to fulfill the role of man in brightly colored tights shooting glue from his wrists until it's revealed there is another kid bitten by a spider. Enter a 15-year-old Black and Latina named Miles Morales. Is the one who will dare to be greater, dare to answer the call to action, and dare to blow up the internet like comic books never had before, and also never would until Captain America started working for Nazis. From the beginning, he has earned ire and praise for simply being different. And it really kind of plays into his journey. At the time, there are many fanboys yelling, "This is SJWBS! Stan Lee said Spider-Man could be anybody, so he should just be a white guy. Black people should make their own superheroes. Superheroes that are separate but equal." Which was silly, because Peter Parker Spider-Man is still there in the main universe. But people who liked him were also very vocal. They were also very vocal about him getting a movie. And they were vocal about who they wanted to play him. the time, Donald Glover was already 25 years old, which is a weird age gap to play a 15-year-old. But I mean, Grease did worse, right? Back then, he wasn't Childish Gambino. He was a writer on 30 Rock and an actor on Community who just so happened to have a budding rap group. He was actually open to the idea, but there wasn't anybody making that movie at the time. But it didn't stop people from still voicing their opinion on whether or not he should play it.
And maybe, Spider-Man, maybe he doesn't have to be white. Maybe he can be black or Hispanic or something like that. And then somebody put a big picture of me in the comments. It was like, Donald Glover can play Spider-Man. He's nerdy. Oh, yeah, I'll put that up. So I put it up on my Twitter, and I was like, oh, Donald for Spider-Man, let's do this. Kind of joke. But also, like, who doesn't want to be Spider-Man? That'd be cool. And half the world was like, Donald for Spider-Man. We're only going to watch the next Spider-Man if Donald Glover's playing Peter Parker. And the other half was like, he's black, kill him. It was insane. Like, you were either very hot or cold and something laid low. But I did read one comment that was like, oh, we're going to make Spider-Man black now? We're just going to make Spider-Man black now? That's what we're going to do? We're just going to make Spider-Man black? That's what we're going to do? We're going to make Spider-Man black now? We're going to make Spider-Man black? Well, why don't we just have Michael Cera play Shaft?
But Miles would not get a big screen appearance until 2019 with Spider-Verse. This movie set the animation world on fire, and it really just conveyed really well that message that people were talking about before of Spider-Man can be anybody. Fun fact, there was the Spider-Sona craze, which was really cool. People made their own Spider-Man costumes, all just inspired by whoever they were. Taking inspiration from Miles in his casual costume, cosplayers just built what they felt like they would wear as Spider-Man. Every time Miles gets a big appearance, people talk, and that's valuable in a front man. And this brings me back to that thing I told you to put a pin in. So let's talk about the MCU Peter Parker played by Tom Holland. I love these movies. They're great. He's a good actor, they're good from a comic book standpoint and a cinematic standpoint. But they aren't Peter Parker movies. They're Miles Morales movies. So Peter's best friend has always been Harry Osborn, another skinny white kid. But here we have Ned, who is just a reworked version of Miles Morales' Asian American friend, Genki. Aunt May's not young. She never has been. She's been ancient from day one. But you know who does have a young parental figure? Miles. Bro, Aunt May has even dated Dr. Octopus and J. Jonah Jameson in the comic books. Honestly, Far From Home even admits this with the Spider-Man costume. I will admit, it is a great Spider-Man costume. I personally never liked it though, because it looks like a half step between Miles and Peter. So, Peter's dominant colors are red and blue. Here we have the red and black, which are actually Miles' dominant colors. Is that how you say that? And then, if you look at the gloves, Miles has a move called the Venom Strike where he shoots electricity from his fingers to stun people. And the suit kind of warns you about that with the red fingertips. But in Peter's case, they just look cool. We can even go as extreme to say that his motivations aren't even that of Peter Parker. Peter Parker doesn't even like Iron Man half the time in the comic books. But the motivation of Miles is to live up to the mantle that he's been given by Peter Parker. In this context, they have to jump through hoops to have Peter Parker's motivation be to live up to Iron Man. Now, you might think I'm mad about that. I'm not. I'm mad because the last time I tried to record this video, plastic started melting in my room and I got poisoned almost. But they're good movies, and art is derivative. But it's weird to take aspects from a new character and copy and paste them over a legacy character. If you want Miles Morales, just get Miles Morales. He's right there, hanging out. Probably what happened is a contractual agreement between Sony and Disney. But to me, in order to get new stories, you need a new character. Peter's had his time. He's dominated the entirety of the early 2000s. And that's why I feel like he needs to leave the main role alone, but he should still have spin-off stories. I think he should occupy the same space that the Hulk does, where maybe he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe he's out abroad doing something. He's in a lot of the movies, but he's not the main character. So I actually kind of like how the Sam Raimi movies just breeze through his high school years and go straight into his young adult life, trying to balance
life with college and jobs and being late all the time. Peter's high school stories ring from a different time where nerds got stuffed into lockers and that kind of crap. It isn't as relatable as it used to be. The story of Miles in high school is one of trying to find your own individuality and be different from the people who came before you. The best line from Into the Spider-Verse is,
Remember, what makes you different
Let's go!
is what makes you Spider-Man.
Officer, I love you.
Wait, what?
and that's the story I believe just needs to be told in America right now.
Tell me what you think. Am I crazy? Probably, but not for this reason. Anyways, please, 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 I beg you, share this on your social media. Make a conversation about it. I really want to know what you think. And so then that does it. This would, well, oh my gosh. I can't tell you how many times I recorded this. I won't tell you how many times I recorded this. Oh man, it's awful. But anyways, I will see you in the next video.